Hello, dear students. Welcome to today's episode. Today we are going to discuss the concept of communication, its importance, process, channels of communication, barriers to effective communication, and the guidelines for effective communication. I am Dr. Arshia Hussain, PhD in Human Resource Management and teaching in the Department of Commerce and Business Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Before proceeding further, I would like to have my student's introduction. She is Ayushi and he is Angad, and both of them will actively participate in the discussion with me. So here we'll continue our discussion with the communication. First of all, we'll start with the concept of communication. Communication is one of the most important elements in an organization. In order to exchange views, opinions as well as ideas between two or more persons, communication is required. Communication is nothing but the process of passing of information, views, opinions and so on from one person to another, which helps in understanding each other. Communication is necessary for human relationship. Human beings not only interact with one another but also understand each other through the process of communication. We spend most of the time of a day in communicating with each other. Communication may therefore be defined as a process of exchange of ideas, views, facts, opinions or emotions to create mutual understanding. The term communication not only includes the spoken or written words, but it is more than that. It also includes gestures, attitudes, feelings or actions. Now, according to Coons and O'Donnell, communication is an intercourse by words, letters, symbols or messages, and is a way that one organization member shares meaning and understanding with another. In the words of Allen, communication is the sum of all the things one person does when he wants to create understanding in the minds of another. It is a bridge of meaning. It involves systematic and continuous process of telling, listening and understanding. Now, let's see some of the features of communication based on the definition of communication. The first feature is communication is a continuous process. Second is it is pervasive in nature. This means that it is required at all the levels of the organization. Next is it is a two-way process. The process of communication will not be completed unless and until the receiver also gives the feedback to the sender. Next is communication is not only the transfer of ideas or views to other person, but also involves correct interpretation as well as understanding of the views. The main purpose of communication is to make the other person understandable. Next, we'll see purposes of communication. The main purpose of communication is to create mutual understanding between two or more persons. Another purpose of communication is to make healthy human relationships, to keep employees informed of company's progress, to provide orders and instructions to the employees. Next is to develop will to work among employees. Next is to obtain feedback from the employees.
I
Yes.
have a question to raise. You
Yes.
just recently mentioned about increasing the will of the employees.
Exactly.
Can you tell us about one or two steps as to how communication can actually help develop will of the employees?
Will of the employees.
Yes.
See, if a communicator is expressive, okay, the other person will feel like to express himself or herself, okay. If there is no communication between a manager and the employee after a certain point of time will feel as if why should I communicate?
Of course.
So communication is the key to develop will among the employees. If there is more communication, employees they become more actively participate in the entire working of the organization. So their will more enhanced. Okay, it will be developed. They will feel motivation to work in the organization. Is this clear to you?
Yes, thank you so
Yeah.
much, ma'am, for pointing that out. But speaking on the same note, we all know that there are certain elements in the process of communication.
Exactly.
So, do you think, what is your opinion on the fact that if any of an element of the communication process is missed, do you still think that communication can be effective?
No. Communication is effective only when
all
all
the-
the process
course.
of the communication is fully completed. Okay,
Yes.
be it your receiver or sender, starts from the receiver,
the-
sender, empathy, and the various elements. So it has to be completed properly. Only then communication will be effective.
Actually, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
What is the difference between gesture and posture?
Gestures and postures. Gestures basically is related with the facial expressions, and posture is the entire body.
Body language.
The body, how you are sitting, how you are standing, okay, and gestures are related with the facial expressions, okay, with the movement of the hands and all. Is this clear? Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll continue with our discussion. The next is to develop interest of the management in the employees. Next point is to prevent or reduce labor turnover, to create interest among the employees with respect to their jobs. Now we'll see process of communication.
Process of communication.
The first element is the sender. Sender is the person who initiates the process of communication. He has certain ideas, views, information, and so on, which he wants to send to the other person. The second element is the message. Message is the information, views, ideas, and so on, which sender wants to share with the other person. Without message, your communication cannot start.
It's
So
not complete,
communication starts with the message only. Next is the third element, which we say in the process of communication, is encoding. Encoding is the language which is used by the sender to transmit the message. The term encoding refers to the words, symbol, gestures, and so on, through which sender organizes his ideas, views, and so on, and communicate to the receiver. Next important element is the channel or medium through which message will be transmitted from the sender to the receiver. There are different channels or media through which message can be transmitted. Most commonly used channels are telephone, letters, face-to-face conversation, and so on. Another element is receiver. Receiver is a person who receives the message, or a person from whom the message is to be delivered. The communication process will not be completed unless and until the message is received by the receiver. Next element is the element of decoding. Decoding is a very important element in the process of communication. Decoding refers to the words into which message is translated by the receiver. Receiver interprets the message into his own words to derive its meaning. Next is feedback, is the response by the receiver.
Like you just mentioned about feedback and
Yes.
actually about decoding the message, but do you
Yes.
still think that if the receiver is not able to decode actually the true meaning of the message,
Yes.
do you still feel that the feedback will be effective?
No, if you are not able, if the receiver is not able to decode the message properly, the
Then there will be-
communication will be, then there will be a miscommunication.
Of course, yes.
Okay, the meaning of the communication will totally change. The interpretation of the message is totally different. Okay, so in that case, the understanding level between the sender and the receiver
Might vary.
Yes, might vary. Now we'll see importance of communication. Communication is one of the essential elements for the success of an organization.
Of course.
Without communication, the administration of an organization is not possible. Communication is the means by which organization activity is integrated. It is the means by which behavior is modified, change is effected, and goals are achieved. Communication is needed everywhere and in all types of organization. Communication promotes cooperation and helps in building up high morale in the organization. It also helps in motivating the employees. Effective communication helps the workers or employees to express their problems and grievances to the management and thus strengthening their relationships. Communication also plays a significant role in training and development of employees. Since training program not only depends on the contents of the training but also on how effectively it has been delivered to the trainee. Apart from this, communication plays an important role in other fields as well, like better planning, organizing, staffing, decision making, coordination, controlling, and so on.
Ma'am,
Yes,
I would like to
yes,
interrupt you once
yes.
again. Like we all know what are the functions of management. Do you still feel that communication can be, in modern day sense, can be added as a function of management?
Yes, communication, if you see, communication is one of the function of the management, particularly in the direction. Because direction is a part of the management functions,
Yes.
planning, organizing, directing and controlling.
Yes, ma'am.
Then in directing you have leadership, you have
Motivation.
supervision, you have motivation, you have communication.
Communication as well,
So
yes.
communication in a way is a part of the management functions,
Management function,
which comes under your directing. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll continue. Manager gets things done through others. Thus, he spends most of their time in communicating, guiding, instructing, and so forth. In one of the publication of the American Management Institution, it has been observed that as a manager, your prime responsibility is to get things done through people. However sound your ideas or well reasoned your decisions, they become effective only as they are transmitted to others and achieved the desired action or reaction. Communication, therefore, is the most vital management tool. Whatever management does, they do it by communicating with others.
May I have a question?
Yes.
How can we make communication more effective?
Communication can be made more effective by using various elements into it. Okay. For example, clarity. Okay. We say there are certain C's of communication, like we have P's of marketing. There are C's of communication. Okay.
Yes.
So these are the ingredients of the communication. Your clarity, completeness. Okay. Your you know, the concept of the communication. Okay. So there are certain other points, you know, which we can make it useful or which we should understand in order to make communication more effective. Okay. For example, we can make use of the gestures. Okay. In communication, it is not only just your verbal communication, okay, it is both verbal and non-verbal, okay, which can make a communication process more effective.
So which one is important, verbal or non-verbal?
Both are important.
equally
Both are
important.
equally important. Okay, if you are not making use of non-verbal communication, okay, and you are just verbally communicating without using, you know, any gestures or you know, movement of hands and all, so it seems very very awkward, you know, expressionless. Okay, you are just sitting like this and you are just, you know, communicating. So it should be supported with both, you know, verbal and non-verbal should be there. Okay. So both becomes an important element. Okay. Now we'll continue. The role of communication has become quite significant due to the growing size of organizations, technological advancement, focus on human relations, growth of trade unions, stress on public relations and social responsibilities of business. Next we'll see is channels of communication. Channels of communication are one of the important elements of communication process. It is the way through which messages are shared or transmitted from one person, that is, from sender to another, that is, the receiver. Channels of communication are broadly classified into two categories. One is formal communication, the other one is your informal communication. Formal communication. Formal communication flows officially from top to bottom, and from bottom to top, it is a systematic communication which is deliberately planned in the organization. This type of communication is based on formal relationships between the employees of the organization. It is well structured, stable, and rigid communication. There are three types of formal communication, that is downward communication, upward communication, and horizontal communication. We'll see what is downward communication first. Downward communication is a vertical type of formal communication. The information flows from top to bottom in the organization. Downward communication is generally used when superior wants to issue orders, instructions, policies, memos, circulars, rules, budgets, and so on to their subordinates. In addition to this, it is a means through which superior motivates and influences the behavior of their subordinates. Next is upward communication. Upward communication is also a vertical type of formal communication under which information flows from bottom to the top in the organization. Upward communication is as important as downward communication because it provides feedback on the extent of effectiveness of downward communication.
Of course.
Upward communication is used when employees wants to share their complaints, grievances, suggestions, proposals, and so on with their superiors. Next type of communication is horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is also one formal type of communication under which information flows horizontally from one person to another who is at the same position and status. This type of communication takes place among people working at the same level through letters, memos, meetings, conferences, and so on. The next type of communication is informal communication. Informal communication is casual and unofficial form of communication which takes place informally among the employees. This type of channels of communication takes place because of interpersonal contacts between the employees. It is technically known as grapevine because it is unstructured in nature and information flows from all the directions. The information exchange is spontaneous. Information is exchanged between two or more than two persons without conforming to prescribed official rules, processes, systems, formalities, and chain of command. Now we'll see methods of communication. There are three methods of communication. First one is oral communication, second is written communication, and the third one is gestural communication. Now what is oral communication? Oral communication takes place through words of mouth. It means exchange of ideas, views, opinions, and so on among or between the people by face-to-face contact or through mechanical devices like telephonic conversation, intercom system, and so on. However, face-to-face contact is considered as the most effective way of transmitting the message because it avoids misunderstanding between the persons and can resolve the problem on the spot. There are various advantages of oral communication, like it is economical, flexible, and helps in giving quick response. Apart from this, the speed of oral communication is faster than the written communication, but at the same time, it also suffers from certain limitations, like oral communication does not provide permanent record. It is a time-consuming process. It is not desirable in case of long distances. Next type of communication is written communication. Written communication is that communication under which information is transmitted through written words in the form of letters, circulars, memos, reports, and so on. In other words, written communication refers to those decisions, policies, statements, rules, procedures, orders, and instructions, so on, which are expressed on papers. There are various advantages of written communication over oral communication. For instance, it provides permanent records for future reference. If the message is lengthy, then written communication is preferable mostly. It is more clear, specific and economical. Some of the disadvantages of written communication is that it is time consuming and inflexible. Moreover, it lacks personal touch and receiver may not understand the feelings, attitudes and emotions of the sender. Next is gestural communication.
Ma'am, before we begin with gestural communication,
Yes.
I have a question for you. What in your opinion, or how do you think that
Written
the
communication.
written communication
Communication.
is inflexible?
Yes. See, written communication means you are writing something on papers. You are communicating by way of papers. So once something is written on papers,
It cannot be
it
changed.
cannot be
be
changed.
changed.
Okay. In terms of your oral communication, you can change the words, you know, immediately. If you find it that something is being spoken as wrong. Okay.
Make you in denial also.
Yes, but in written communication, it is a proof on the, so that is why it is inflexible.
It is inflexible.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
So next type of communication is gestural communication. Now, under gestural communication, information passes from sender to the receiver through body language or gestures. In case of oral communication, gestures of the parties are very important. It is used to convey the feelings, emotions and attitudes. Communication networks is another point that we would like to discuss. Communication network is the system through which message is transmitted in one direction or in other several directions. 4 types of communication networks prevail in the organization. First one is circle network. In this type of communication network, the information or messages are transferred from one person to another in the form of a circle.
Yes.
This means that each person can communicate with 2 other persons who are located on left and
Either to the
right
left
of his sides. Circle network gives greater amount of satisfaction to the person, but at the same time it is time consuming because it is slow in nature. The next type of network is chain. Under this chain network, messages are shared by one person to another in the form of vertical line along the scalar chain of command. A scalar chain of command means that all the subordinates receive the instructions and orders from only one superior. Under this system, messages can flow from top to bottom or from bottom to top in a vertical line. Next type of network is wheel network. In the wheel network, one person sits in the center of the network and receives and disseminate all information. Person, generally manager, sits in the center and acts as a hub of a wheel. All the information passes through manager and subordinates can communicate with and through him. There is no direct contact between employees or subordinates of an organization. In simple words, there is one central authority and all the subordinates have to report him. Next is free flow network. Under this system, there is no restriction in the flow of information. Everyone is free to communicate with everyone and anyone in the process of communication in an organization. This means that information can flow from any direction. Thus, it is known as all channel network. This network is informal and unstructured in nature. Now, next we will see is barriers to
Barriers
communication.
to communication.
Barriers are the obstacles or hindrances which causes distortions, breakdown and delay in the communication process. There are many barriers which exist in almost every organization, whether big or small, making the communication process ineffective. Some of the common barriers which exist in the organization are: the first one is organizational barrier. It exists due to long and complex layers of hierarchy. Where organization involves too many levels leading to long communication lines, the message will be delayed and distorted. The long communication lines may also lead to filtering. When information has to be passed through several persons, it causes unnecessarily filtering of messages. Next is a status barrier. A status barrier is another serious problem in effective communication. It exists when the persons of higher status do not like to talk to the persons at the lower status. At the same time, subordinates at lower status also do not feel free to talk to their superiors. They share only that information which their superior would like to hear. Next is information overload. Too many information at the same time may lead to confusion. Receivers may ignore or misinterpret some of the messages. Next type of barrier is channel distortion. There may be various disturbances due to noise, unhealthy environment, problem in telephonic conversation, telex machines and so on. These disturbances may distort the messages. Next is inattention. It is another serious obstacle in the way of effective communication. It occurs when the receiver himself or herself does not pay attention to the sender because of boring lecture or uninteresting information. Next is semantic barrier. It refers to the misunderstanding between the sender and receiver arising due to the different meanings of words and other symbols used in communication. There may be circumstances when the same words have different meaning to different persons. In such case, the correct purpose or meaning of communication will not be delivered. Next is perceptual barrier. Every person has different perceptions. They would like to hear, read or see which is of their interest and leave the rest of the message. This may create the communication process ineffective. Next is premature evaluation. There are circumstances when the receivers are in such a hurry that he evaluates the message before listening it carefully and completely. Next is, yes.
I want to interrupt.
Yes.
Can perception be negative and positive?
Yes, perception can be negative and positive, depending upon the person who is communicating the message. Okay, so your negative perception and positive perception depends upon the person who is communicating with you. So if he is giving you a positive gestures, so your perception would be positive. Okay, and if he is delivering the message to you in a negative way, you may, and perception may also be according to your own likes and dislikes. Okay, if you feel like to hear the message, your perception would be positive. Okay, and vice versa. So it can be both. Okay, so we'll continue the discussion. Next is miscellaneous barriers. Then there are miscellaneous barriers like lack of ability to communicate, irrelevant and unclear message, lack of trust and so on, which affects communication. Now, overcoming barriers to communication. There are various ways through which obstacles in communication can be removed. Some of the important ways are: number one, clarity of message, which is very important. Clarity of message is the first step of an effective communication. It means that message must be clearly understood both by the sender and the receiver. Sender can send the message properly and make the message understandable to the receiver only when he himself is clear about the contents of the message. Language used must be as simple as possible. No ambiguity should creep into it. Next is completeness. Message must be complete in all respects. Incomplete message creates confusion and misunderstanding. Next is communication skills. Every person, especially a person who is sending the message, should have a communication skills. Next is organization structure. The structure of an organization should be flexible and should have shorter channels of communication. This will help in achieving smooth and effective flow of communication. Next is timeliness. It means that message should be delivered to the right person and at the right time. Proper channels should be used to deliver the message. Next is attention. It is very necessary that receiver should listen the message carefully. It is the responsibility of the communicator to make the contents of the message interesting. In simple words, the communicator should try to secure the attention of every person or communicate by making the message attractive and interesting. Next is free from semantic barriers. In order to remove semantic barriers, it is very essential that the receiver should understand the message in the same manner with the same meaning in which it has been delivered by the sender. Next is miscellaneous guidelines. There are some other steps also which helps in making the communication process effective. For instance, no status barrier should be there between the superior and the subordinates. Every person should be free to talk to each other. Receiver should not evaluate the message before getting it completely. Disturbances due to telephone lines, telex machines and other noises should be completely removed before delivering the message. Now we'll take a look at what we have discussed in the episode so far.
Right.
Communication is the process of passing of information, views and opinions from one person to another, which helps in understanding each other. The main purpose of communication is to create mutual understanding between two or more persons. There are various elements in the process of communication like sender, message, encoding channel, receiver, decoding and feedback. Communication has significant role to play. The administration of an organization is not possible without communication. Communication is the vital tool of management. Communication promotes cooperation and helps in building up high morale in the organization. It also helps in motivating the employees. Effective communication helps the workers or employees to express their problems and grievances to the management, thus strengthen their relationship. As far as communication network are concerned, there are 4 types of communication networks which prevails in the organization, that is circle network, chain network, wheel network and free flow network. Apart from this, in every organization, whether big or small, barriers to effective communication exist to a greater or lesser extent. Some of the important barriers are organizational barrier, semantic barriers, status barrier, inattentive listener and so on. However, these barriers can be removed by taking various steps. So that is all for today. Hope you have understood the concept of communication. So we'll meet in the next episode with a new topic on management. Till then, take care. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.